Hey, what's going on, guys? So in this video, we'll jump right into it. I don't even think I'm gonna do any flashy titles or anything like that. So if you come across this video right now, congratulations, you've already won the game. Now, Bitcoin is going to be the money of the future, point blank period. We're going there. Whether you agree with that, whether you don't agree with that, whatever, we're going there. Not financial advice, have to say that. It's financial entertainment, haha. Anybody who buys Bitcoin over the next 10 years, you will be thrusted up into the next elite class. People that don't buy Bitcoin, you're going to suffer. So, where do we go from here? The system is designed to keep you a slave. The system needs hamsters running the wheels. Well, if Bitcoin is going to be the money of the future, how come Warren Buffett doesn't talk about it? How come he calls it rat poison? Well, Warren Buffett is a mascot for the American system. This is why every time he does a talk, he has a Coca-Cola bottle in front of him. He is a part of the system, right? Somebody who's winning at Monopoly and has all of their pieces all over the board is not going to tell somebody that, hey, look over here, let's start playing checkers now. Right? He's going to want you to continuously keep going around the board, collecting your little $200 and getting blown up every time you step on somebody else's piece. So he's not going to endorse it. Dave Ramsey, the same thing. He keeps telling you to invest in the S&P 500. Bitcoin is stupid. It's going to zero. He's an idiot. He's part of the system, right? He's a billionaire and he's part of the system. Another person who talks or doesn't really understand it, Stephen Graham. Now, he's not part of the system, but he's in the financial system enough to understand what the heck is going on. And even him, I can't watch his stuff anymore. Every time he talks about investing, he always, just put your money into the S&P 500. Over 30 years, you'll have $1.8 million. He's in the system enough to understand that fiat is going to zero. He's in the system enough to understand that inflation and debasement is killing the dollar. That $1.8 million, right? What does that do to the average person who doesn't understand investing? What does that understand to the average person who doesn't understand that the system is dying? They think about all the things they can buy right now with $1.8 million. They don't think about that $1.8 million in 30 years is probably only going to be around $300,000 worth of stuff or purchasing power that you could buy. It's garbage. It's crap. It's not enough. You know, I've already read the book. This is what I do. I'm a reader. I've read this book, Intelligent Investor. Back to front. It's garbage. You can throw this in the trash. It doesn't work anymore. Anybody still recommending stocks in the stock market? It's garbage. It's trash. You're not going to get rich by buying Nike stock. You're not going to get rich by buying Apple. You're not going to make it out by wondering and thinking about if Chipotle is going to sell more burritos next quarter than this quarter. It's garbage. And then on top of that, you're getting paid in something that is dying. So your reward in the future is something that is dying, is going down the drain, which is the dollar. So when it comes to Bitcoin, we're not buying Bitcoin, right? You have to get that perspective out of your head. What you're doing is you're trading in old money for new money. Again, not financial advice. This is financial entertainment. Have to keep saying that. So anybody still recommending stocks does not have your best interest at heart. They're part of the system. They want to keep it going. So with Bitcoin, we're going to go down two paths. We're going to go down the path of one, Jeff Booth and Brian DeMint. Got these books as well. Jeff Booth talks about the price of tomorrow and Bitcoin becoming the new money of the future. Brian DeMint with Parallel, he talks about how we're going to get there with Bitcoin being the money of the future. A lot of people are idiots. 99% of people are idiots. So what's going to happen in this parallel world that Brian DeMint talks about is that we're going to have two parallel worlds. We're going to have the Bitcoin world where people are operating in Bitcoin, and then you have the people who don't like Bitcoin and they're going to operate in dollars, because still people want dollars for some reason. They want paper that gets printed out of thin air and gets debased all the time. They keep wanting that. Well, as their life continues to get worse, because gas prices are going to go up, housing prices are going to go up, food is going to continuously go up, these people are going to suffer. And they continuously want communism because of it. Take from the rich, give to me. And they're going to see these Bitcoiners who are winning in life. And then over time, as these parallel worlds are running, they're going to just jump over. You're going to have more and more people wanting to go into this new world. Now, You also have Simon Dixon, who goes down the more black pill path, which I believe is what we're going to go down. And you also have Oliver Velez, who believes we're going to go down this other path as well. Because 99% of people are deaf, dumb, and blind, and they're waiting for people like Warren Buffett and the government to tell them what to do and what to buy, and financial advisors to tell them what to buy and what to do, that all of the Bitcoin is just going to be hoarded up by like all the rich people. And all of the people like myself who are smart enough to understand what the heck is going on, and they're never going to give it up. And so Bitcoin is just going to become like real estate or land, you know. Shout out to Oliver Velez for talking about this. When's the last time you've heard of land in New York City going for sale, right? Now, we all know, we've all seen those videos on Instagram of the $125 million penthouse in New York City. Well, if the penthouse, the small box, is $125 million, how much is the building going for? Billions? How much is the land going for? Trillions? That land is owned by somebody. It's not owned by the state. It's owned by somebody, and they're never selling. And so this is what Bitcoin will become. I kind of believe. I don't want it to go there. Jeff Booth doesn't believe it's going there. Brian DeMint doesn't believe it's going there. But I kind of do believe it's going there because 99% of humans are idiots. And they don't see a good thing in front of them when it's right there. They want to wait for somebody to tell them that it's a good thing first. And by that time, it'll be all gone. Now, what the heck does this have to do with life and dragons? Well, here we go. Again, not financial advice. Anybody who buys Bitcoin over the next 10 years, even though it's 70,000 right now, it's going in the tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a coin. So anybody who buys Bitcoin right now is going to be rich AF. AF, like capital AF. You will be pulled into the next 1% of the elite. And you could just go down one path, which is just sunshine, beaches, margaritas, not doing anything with your life. But that's boring, right? Life is meant to be lived. You're meant to slay dragons. So, think of all of the great movies, all of the great books. You got things like Harry Potter, the kid who almost died and came back and beat the guy. You got, a prime example is Batman, right? This man was rich. He had everything he ever needed: cars, clothes, the house, the estate, the women, the business, and he still threw himself in jail and came out of jail as the Dark Knight. The second one, he got thrown into the hole, into the pit, and he climbed out. And we all love it. We all love that. The hero's journey. And for people who are buying Bitcoin right now, I want you guys to think about what your hero's journey is going to be, because you can't just sit on a beach and just be rich AF. That type of lifestyle, it'll spiral you out of control. You'll end up like Charlie Sheen or somebody, or Lamar Odom, just doing drugs and alcohol and dumb stuff and ruining your life, and probably, taking a dirt nap earlier than you should have. We're supposed to slay dragons. We're supposed to go into that cave. We're supposed to go into the unknown. We're supposed to build. And it doesn't just mean that you have to be, an entrepreneur, content creator, whatever. It allows you to do what you actually want to do now. It allows you to, maybe you want to be a teacher. Maybe you want to be a kindergarten teacher, but you're just like, that job just doesn't pay enough. Maybe you want to be a plumber and you like plumbing. Maybe you want to be an electrician, but you're just like, this job doesn't pay enough. Right now, because we live in this fiat world, everybody's just trying to do the job that pays the most, and it's soul sucking, and they don't want to do that anymore. And this is another thing that this is going to do as well. Now that, we're on this Bitcoin standard and everybody's, living the life that they should be living, everything gets better, People are actually doing the things that they love, which means they're actually approaching this thing with more care. And that just makes the product even better. You don't just have a teacher in there that doesn't care about the students. You don't just have somebody, doing whatever, landscaping or, whatever you like to do. You're going to get top tier quality products because the person is actually wanting to do that. Not forced to do that. So I just want to come on here again, not financial advice. Think about those dragons that you want to slay, because it's coming. And you don't just want to be drinking margaritas and go down the alcohol path or just the debauchery. Life is meant to live. You're supposed to not necessarily suffer, but go through challenges, build yourself up, build things, create things, experience things, help others. Build communities, help your family, take care of each other. And we can all do that when we're doing things that we actually care about and we actually love, and just not something that we're forced to do. So that's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin, life, and dragons. And stop following these people that are continuously pushing stocks. That is dead. Stocks are dead. Again, shout out to Oliver Velez. He talks about this too. Here's the order of operation of things. Why are stocks dead? The order of operation of things, how to get out of the system, how to get wealth, how to get to the next level, right? In the 1880s to the early 1920s, it was a job. When the Industrial Revolution happened, you had a job, right? After the job, you went to college, you got a college degree. From the 1940s to the 1960s, if you wanted to get ahead, you get a college degree. From the 1960s and 1980s, if you wanted to get ahead, you bought real estate and you sold that, or not sold it, but you rented it out to people. From the 80s into the early 2000s, it was into the stock market. You see in these movies, Wall Street, all these Wall Street movies that came out of there, right? People was making millions and millions of dollars on Wall Street. That was the game. 2009, Bitcoin comes on the scene, and here we are. We're in the cryptocurrency phase. You can't go back to the other ones. Grant Cardone is another one. He's big into real estate. He doesn't push it anymore. He's constantly saying that the real estate market is dead. People are still trying to get into real estate. It's a dead market. It's done. Grant Cardone, what is he doing? He's buying and developing these big luxury apartment units. You can't just buy a couple single family houses in Little Rock, Arkansas anymore. That's a dead motto. First of all, the average house in America is like $500,000. How many of those can you really afford to get into? Second of all, look at the demographics. Nobody's getting married. Nobody's having children. So who are you going to rent these single families out to? Real estate is dead. And then on top of that, with the stock market, you're trading in and out of these stocks for fiat. So as the ship is sinking, you're trading for money that is dying, right? And the same thing when it comes to Bitcoin. Everybody thinks they're buying Bitcoin. You're not buying Bitcoin. You're trading dollars for new money. And everybody's like, oh, when do you sell? When do you make sure you take profits? There's no profits. It's like, when do you get on the life raft and then be like, oh, when do we get back on the Titanic? You don't. We're done. We're done with that. There is no getting back on the Titanic. We're off. We're on the life raft already. We're in the future. It's a beautiful day, and I'm feeling spicy. I just want everybody to make it. Those who understand Bitcoin, those who read, those who understand the system, you're going to make it. We're all going to make it. Stop listening to these goof influencers. They're all idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. I think I'm good right there. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the good things. Make this thing go viral. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.